Scott, snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap, since back and forth between Georgia
Wait, hold on.
and
I don't know what
Tennessee.
Tamarian Parker had to do with this conversation.
You got me on that one. But no, to me, it seems like Gibson, he's trending towards Tennessee. I don't think that one's completely over. It does seem like Georgia is still pushing. And as long as Georgia's still pushing, you can't feel completely comfortable until he's really until his name's on the dotted line. But at least in this case, until he makes his announcement. So I think that, I see him going to Tennessee, and Jordan Matthews, I don't think you can roll it out him going to Tennessee. But to me, I might see it to believe it territory. That one just feels like Texas. It just feels like one where Tennessee's been involved and in the top group for a really, really long time, but they've never been a top team. And I think while they're once again in the top, like you said, it seems like it's going to be Tennessee or Texas in that top group of two teams. Yeah, I think Texas was going to win out there, but we'll see. I think more than anything, just kind of like what we talked about last week on, the 4 offensive tackles that we felt like Tennessee needed to get 2 of them. They only got 1. To me, this is one you just feel like you need to make sure you get one of those guys, and you don't have to be completely reaching and searching and looking at senior year tape to decide who to kind of readdress your defensive backboard and who you want.
Absolutely. Dylan Sampson, running back 2 this year, Ryan.
Yeah, so throwing back to coming home from school and watching some Around the Horn, buy or sell, I'm selling that. I'm selling that take. And
interesting.
Dylan Sampson has been impressive, don't get me wrong, but Jaylen Wright's going to be running back number 2. There's just no doubt about that in my mind. I mean, he's been banged up and not a fully participant in practice because of it. But he's one of the guys I'm most excited to see this year because he's added a lot of muscle. His frame, to me, looks a lot different than it did last year as a freshman. We know the speed that he has. And so that's where I'm honestly wouldn't be surprised if it's a 1A, 1B thing with Jabari Small and Jaylen Wright. And then after that, I think you look at who's the number 3 guy. And to me, Dylan Sampson may be that guy. He's been really impressive so far to date. He had a good scrimmage on Tuesday, 1 long run. And maybe what stands out to him, and this may be me reading too much into some press conference quotes, but we know that he is a guy that's good pass catcher. He's a good option out of the backfield. But he also got a lot of praise earlier this week for his ability as a run blocker. And to me, that's – or not as a run blocker, as a pass blocker and pass protection.
Right.
Tennessee does – its running backs, Jabari Small is solid there. Jaylen Wright really struggled as a freshman. And then your 2 other guys, you're kind of – I guess Lynjay Dixon too, but he's a smaller guy. I don't really know what to expect from him in that regard. But for young players, that's a really hard area. That's one of the running backs' biggest struggles, I think, coming in right away to a college program is becoming a good in pass protection. And obviously, like I said, we saw Jaylen Wright struggle to do that last year. When you combine, if Dylan Sampson is as good as advertised, and that's not a concern for him, and with what we know he can do with the ball in his hands as a pass catcher, I think it makes a lot of sense for him to earn some 3rd and long, 3rd down running back type reps.
Interesting. I think all 5 are going to play. Like, I don't see a scenario where we don't get the big 5. And I think they're going to rotate. Like, Lynjay is kind of like, he's just really behind the 8 ball. Like, I think if he had come in maybe earlier, if he's in June, even just for spring, I think that would have been a big difference for him just because of the natural talent. But, like, I don't know. I'm with you. I think they're going to rely on who they know with Small and Wright out of the gate. But if they struggle or they're banged up and Sampson and/or Justin Thomas show out, they have no problem riding the hot hand and like who they trust. And if they're good, they don't care if you're a freshman, junior, whatever. If you're good, you're going to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's inevitable that somebody's going to get injured, or at least banged up. It might not be anything serious, but you're going to need a lot of guys. And, I would kind of think that my guess is going to be 4 guys get opportunities early, but naturally when somebody